Hello, welcome to the start of another round of Squash That series. If you don't know what this is a readathon that's hosted a couple times a year by one of my friends, Bailey at Is Bailey Reading. Every round is different, but the goal is the same, which is to read your series down. This round of Squash That series is a competitive round, so I'm super excited. I love a competitive readathon. And this one is just so much fun. So there are 3 different teams, and we're basically playing Battleship. So Bailey has drawn up these boards and has shown us how many ships are on the board somewhere. They're hidden. And what we have to do is we have to read a book that matches whatever the board's prompt is. So, for example, graphic novels have a board that look like this. There is one boat that covers 2 squares. And every time you read a graphic novel, you get to guess a coordinate. So, like B3. And then you would find where those 2 things meet. And then Bailey will tell us whether or not we hit a ship or missed it. And there are different sizes of ships and different sizes of boards. Some boards are very small, some are bigger. And so we've been doing a lot of and the other teams are also battling for those same boards. So they are guessing on their boards, trying to sink the ships faster than any other team. And I believe the team to clear 4 boards first wins. I believe it's 4. I'm gonna have to double check. But there are 3 teams and 9 boards, so I think you have to clear 4 to be the winner. So, very fun, very exciting. It's gonna be fast-paced, interesting. There's no end date to this. It's kind of whenever a team comes out on top, and I'm really excited to just see how it goes. So, I'm gonna be doing something very silly. Our team has been talking about what we want our strategy to be, and our strategy is going to be to focus on like 2 or 3 boards at a time and kind of abandon the others and try to like really get in and focus on one. So one of my suggestions was, what if we try to tackle the graphic novel board really early and see if we could like clear it out? And so I was asking in the team chat, does anyone else have graphic novels that they could read? Because I have a lot. I have an entire series that I'm going to be reading for a vlog coming later. I don't know what time, but later. So that one, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a long series. And so I have like all of those that I could read. I just need to read the first volume first. That one can't count. But then I can read the other ones. And then I have Witch Hat Atelier, which is a manga series I've started but not yet caught up on. I think it's still being written, so I don't think it's done, but I have like 7 or 8 volumes that I could read. So I have those on my phone, and then the other series will be a mix of physical and on my phone. So my idea is just to read as many graphic novels as I can. I don't know if anyone else has graphic novels on my team. No one that's responded has said that they're reading graphic novels, but I'm going to read as many as I can and try to like complete that board on my own. Hopefully I'll get like a really good guess and be able to complete it quickly, because it's just one person rating for it. And if other teams have the same idea, they're probably going to crush me. So that's my goal, is to start with graphic novels. And then the first novel I'm reading is Dust by Hugh Howey. This is the 3rd and final book in the Silo series, which is like a post-apocalyptic series about people who live in a silo, where it's like the people at the top, and it's like an underground silo. So if you imagine like everything is underground, but then the people at the top of the silo are kind of the most well-off people, the people in charge. And then as you go lower down these like spiral staircases in the center, people are less well-off. the story starts in a silo, and secrets about it, about what's happening and what has happened on Earth that's made it inhabitable to be like out on the surface, have like all happened. The second book is like partially a sequel to the first book, but partially a prequel, just getting a different point of view. And this one is going to carry on from the end of the second book and kind of move forward in time now to see what's happening. So I'm really excited to get to this one. I'm going to read it for finishing a series. This is the only book that I think, the only book I'll be able to finish a series for, because everything I've either only read like one book or it's not completed yet and the author's still writing books, and so I won't be able to complete it. But I can complete this one and then it will also count for a book that's over 450 pages. It's 456 to be exact. I got stressed when I was looking at the page number last night. So this will be my first novel, but Tuesday and Wednesday, which are the first 2 days of the challenge, I'm going to be focusing mostly on graphic novels, and then I will focus on that when I have like novel reading time. So that's my plan. Let's see how we do. Oh my gosh, you guys, it is day 3 in the morning of Squash Out series, and boy do I have some updates. So yesterday we got told that a team, the green team, Willow something, had won a board already. So we were really nervous and really hoping that that was because they had focused all their efforts on one board and not just that they were reading insanely fast, which we don't know yet. But we have been reading a lot for sequel to a 5-star. We have sunk 3 of the 5 boats that are there. We know where one is, and then we have to do a couple guesses probably to find the final boat there. So we're hoping to get that board, but I have been working on the graphic novel board, and a few of my teammates joined in, and we made the graphic novel board. I'm so excited. I read like 16 or 17 graphic novels, I think. I never got a right guess, so I'm a terrible guesser, but I did narrow it down enough that when my teammates joined me on my venture into graphic novels that they were able to guess it correctly. Thank goodness for them. I started on the wrong side of the board, so boo for that. I started in the bottom right corner and Bailey had put it in the top left corner, so there's that. So now I've been listening to Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. This is a sequel to The Shining. I have like 6 hours of it left on audiobook, and I'm enjoying it. It's not nowhere near as good as The Shining. It's more fantastical. It's not as scary. But it's a good audiobook. I don't think I would have liked it as much if I was reading it. So I'm glad to have it on audiobook. And that one will work for finishing a series or sequel to a 5-star or 450 or more pages. So even if another team takes one of those boards or we complete one of those boards before I finish it, I'll still be able to submit it to 2. And then I have read like a few pages of Dust by Hugh Howey, and so that'll be my main read today while I'm working, and we'll just see how far I get. I do feel like I might be coming down with a cold, so I'm probably going to be spending the weekend reading and just kind of trying to chill out, play it cool, and work on some series, which is great. If I finish these 2, I will be done with 2 more series that I started before this year, which is one of my goals for 2026 is to finish all of the series I started before this year. That way I'm just always having the most recent series that I'm working on, rather than like having series that drag on for like 7 years, you know. So, making good progress on that. I've decided that I don't want to read 2 different series. One was an indie published book. I gave the first book like a 3.5 stars, and I liked it enough. And then I tried reading a little bit of it on my ebook of the second book. And then I tried reading a little bit of it as an ebook for the second book. And I don't know. It's just not my favorite. The first book was okay, and I wanted to support the author. I like the ideas that she has and what she's doing, but I just don't think she's a very strong writer yet. She's not terrible, but it's just, with all the series I have going on, it's just not very compelling. And so I was like, I think I'm okay to just like let that series be. And so I DNF'd that one. And then I decided I'm not going to continue the Ernest Cunningham series. This is the, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone is the first book. And then the second book is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. And I think I gave the first book like a 4-star, maybe 3.5. I liked it well enough, but just hearing some reviews of the later books, a lot of people say like the first 2 are maybe the best, and then the series is kind of going downhill from there. So I think I would pick up something that the author writes. Is it Benjamin Stevenson? I think so. So I would pick up more that the author writes in like a new series or a standalone, but I don't think I'm not interested in this series if it's not getting better than what it was in the first book, which I haven't really heard that it does. So I've already like DNF'd 2 series, which is great, because if I'm not going to read it for Squash That series, I'm probably not going to pick it up any other time. So that's really good. And then hopefully I'll be knocking out these 2 series that I'm working on, the Shining series and then the Silo series by Hugh Howey. And so that'll be like great progress. I made really good progress in Witch Hat Atelier. I was reading that for a lot of the graphic novels, and then a manga series that I'm not sharing with you yet, but will at a later date in a later video. But Witch Hat Atelier is so good. I loved it so much. I read like, I think 6 volumes, 6.5 maybe, and it's really good. I remember really liking the first 6 books, and then I took a long break, and I was like, do I want to go back to it? And I started reading it again, and I was like, yes, I love this series. It's so good. This is about like a young girl who gets involved with magic without understanding what she's getting into, and becomes an apprentice. And the story is kind of following her becoming an apprentice, learning about magic, her apprentice friends, and then the wider politics of the world and how magic works in this world. And I don't want to tell you a lot about it, because I think the way the story unfolds is really magical. I think this series has my favorite world building of any manga series I've ever read. The fantasy world is just built out so well, and it's so just fascinating to read. Like, I want this series to go on forever. I never want to stop reading this series, because I just love finding out different things about the world. I love the way the author talks about, like, responsibilities of magic and how to use it responsibly when you are given access to magic and not everyone has it. I think are really cool and interesting, and I just think it's written so well. I love the characters. I love the setting. It's just really good. So if you are at all interested in that, I would highly suggest that you check out Witch Hat Atelier. It's so, so good. Okay, I think that's all I need to update you on. It's been a busy 2 days, and I'm going to keep reading some novels, and I'll check back in with you when I have some more updates. Welcome to day 4. Things have happened. Yesterday, we won a board, so we have now won 2 boards. But then I woke up this morning, and Willow Bay has won a 3rd board. And if they win 5 boards in total, they will win for sure. If they win 4 and we win 4, and then Ember Cove wins 1, then I forget what the tiebreaker is. I'll have to look up if Bailey made a tiebreaker. I'm sure she probably did. But yeah, so I'm just reading as much as I can right now. I'm working on Dust. I'm a 1/3 of the way through. It's going to work for finishing a series, and then I'm going to focus on most recently started series because I don't have any more series that I can finish without reading like 3 or more books. So I'm going to need to just work on reading series I most recently started. I'm either going to do The Arm of the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft, which is the sequel to Senlin Ascends, which I just read in my most recent video. Or I'm going to read Harrow the Ninth, which is my second most recently started series. So I'm going to read one of those next. The only issue is they're really long. So many of my sequels are long, so I'm not really able to like bust through them very quickly. So I just need to like really focus and spend the time that I can reading. I did catch a cold from my nanny baby, so I have a little more of an excuse to just like hunker down this weekend. But Willow Bay is reading like crazy. Oh, hi, Seika. Willow Bay is reading like crazy, so we'll see. But I'm just going to read as much as I can. At least while I finish 2 series. Like, even if we don't win, I made a lot of good progress. Hi, so I woke up this morning to find out that Willow Bay had won the final board that they needed to become the official winners of Squash That Series, the Battleship round. So technically, no one else can win, but there are 2 boards still open, the Finish a Series board and then the Random Letter board. And Bailey says that she knows when the next Squash That Series round is going to be and what it's going to be. And so she said if we finish the boards, then she's going to tell us. So we're going to finish the boards. The random letter for today was M. So I'm going to pause reading Dust. I have like 200 pages left in it still. I didn't read as much as I wanted to yesterday. I wanted to finish it, but that was a little ambitious. And then, so I'm going to read the Millhouse Murders today, or at least try to. It's like 250 pages, but it's like a Japanese translated mystery. And so this will be a really fun one to read. The first book is called The Decagon House Murders. And this series is all about like weird buildings and murders that happen in them. And I really like the Decagon House Murders. It's supposed to be an Agatha Christie, like, and then there were none. And I really enjoyed that one. I read it for Wonderthon a couple years ago. And so this is the second book in that series. And so I'm going to read it. And it's another like locked room, impossible murder in a mill house this time. All right, let's wrap up the readathon. So I can't remember exactly when I last updated you. Was I working on the Millhouse Murders? I think that was it. So the Millhouse Murders, I read that all on the same day, but I was not feeling very well, so I didn't update you after I'd finished it or a few other things. So let me update you. So the Millhouse Murders was a really fun story. I ended up really enjoying it. I gave it 4 stars, which is the same rating that I gave the first book, The Decagon House Murders, when I first read that one. The Mill House Murders is set in this house that has like a water mill attached to it. It's this house built by the same architect that built the Decagon house in the first book. And there are some crossover characters, but I read that other book like 2.5 years ago, so I did not really remember who the characters were, but I don't think I needed to really. This one basically stands on its own. So I thought that was good because I had put it off reading it for quite a while and wasn't sure if I was going to need to remember the other book or not, but it seems like I could just read this one on its own and be fine. So when we start reading this book, there are 2 timelines. There's the past and the present. In the past, there were some murders that happened and a man disappears, and it all kind of happens on this night where there's like a typhoon happening. And then in the present, it's a year later, and it's the anniversary of that night, and things seem like they are happening again. Like the same things are starting to happen again, maybe. Like there's a typhoon. The same people are coming to this house. And so it was fun because we were bouncing back and forth between the past and the present, which kept the plot really moving, especially as we were hitting the climax of those stories one right after the other. And I think it's a very like smart crime novel. Like you could figure it out if you really sat and thought about it. I don't. I tend to read crime novels like for fun, popcorn read and just go. I really enjoyed this one. If you like kind of like locked room mysteries where an impossible murder happens and the characters are trying to figure out how it happened, I would highly recommend you check out this series. I think that they're fun. I like the house aspect with the houses being important to the story. I think that's really fun. So I really like that one. Then I went back to reading Dust for Finish a Series. And when I was reading Dust, Willow Bay ended up winning the random letter board. And then we were left with just Finish a Series. And we actually ended up completing that one. I ended up finishing Dust. And I don't think I told you too much about Dust. I told you about Wool, the first book, where it's these people who are living underground in this silo because something has happened above ground that makes the land unlivable. And the series kind of goes on from there. I think that this book was a solid ending. It wasn't a perfect ending. So I'm giving this one 4 stars as well. It's actually the lowest rated of all the series, of all 3 of the books in the series, because Wool and Shift, I think I gave both either 4.5 or 5 stars, and this one's getting 4 stars. So definitely not bad. It was action-packed, and there's some really interesting stuff, but I actually think that with it only being 450 pages, Hugh Howey tried to do too much in this novel, and it could have used some fleshing out of things, especially with some new characters that were brought in, and there was some stuff in the stories that could have been cut out because they didn't really go anywhere. And things at the very end where I would have liked more to it, I think it kind of wrapped up quickly, and I don't know if it's because Hugh Howey didn't know how to wrap it up or if he felt like he had to keep it shorter. I'm not really sure. He self-published these novels, and I believe I was reading a self-published version and not like the traditionally published versions that came out later. And so I enjoyed it, but it wasn't, there were just some things that bothered me. Like there was one plot line that was very quickly introduced and went absolutely nowhere and was not fleshed out at all. It was like some like religious tangent of like this like cult, and it was so surface level. It didn't make any sense, and it could have been completely cut out. There was some stuff with a puppy that was just kind of I don't know, we spent a long time on it, but it didn't really matter all that much. It just kind of felt like the puppy running away got a character to where she needed to be for something to happen. And it didn't seem like it had like a point, but we like spent a long time talking about like dogs in the silo and their place in the silo, and her like getting a puppy and then stuff happening, but it didn't really ever feel like it meant much, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So there were like a couple things there that kind of bothered me, but nothing terrible. So I still liked it overall. I think it was solid. I will read more from Hugh Howey. He is still self-publishing novels. I will go read some at some point for sure, because I think he is a very solid writer. He's one of the few self-published writers I have read who doesn't feel self-published. He either is a really good writer himself or has a really good like professional editor, because I feel like I don't see the, I guess, shortcomings that self-published work can have, where not as many eyes have like read through it, or maybe not as professional of editors have edited it, if at all. And so I just think that Hugh Howey is really a polished writer for being a self-published writer. And the series was a really great, in-depth, interesting series overall. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad to finish it. Kind of check that series off my list. So to update you on everything that I read 6 volumes of Witch Hat Atelier. Almost all of these are 5 stars, except for I think volume 11 and 12, which have like a bigger action storyline sequence happening. That's not my favorite, but I think maybe the author's just trying to do something a little different. It can't always be like cute and cozy little moments with like a little bit of political intrigue. I think the author's trying to make the world bigger, and I don't know if it's like working for me as well, but we'll see. I didn't hate it. I give it like 4 stars. So again, I'm enjoying most of what I'm reading. So I finished 2 series. I finished the Silo series, and I finished the Shining series. Dr. Sleep, I can't remember if I updated you. I gave that 3 stars. It was fine. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. I wasn't paying the closest attention when I was listening to it, mostly because I wasn't that intrigued by anything that was happening. I was just kind of listening to it, and I got the gist of it, and it was fine, but it didn't hold near as much interest as The Shining itself. And then I read The Millhouse Murders, which is the second book in the, I think it's the Bizarre House Mysteries, maybe is what it's called. And so I think there are 5 of those. So I still have like 3 left, I think, that I need to pick up. And I think they might be, I think there's more in the series, because this is an older published Japanese mystery series. So I think there's more in the series that may be translated to English, but I'm not positive. And then I read 14 volumes of a manga series that I'm not talking about in this video, but I did read them, which was good. And that was it. Oh, and then I listened to 30-something% of Wintersmith by Terry Pratchett, which is the 3rd Tiffany Aching novel in the Discworld series. I'm having a fine time with it. This series has never been like a 5-star series. It's like that 3.5 stars usually. Like, I enjoy it. I chuckle sometimes. It's not an overall favorite, but it's cute and cozy, and I enjoy listening to them every once in a while. And so I'm working on that one. So I knocked off 2 series off my list. I DNF'd 2 series, or just decided to DNF this series. I didn't try the book, but I just kind of decided to let go of the series. And I think I have 10 ongoing series, and that includes Discworld and Redwall, which are both very long series that I'm doing like a very casual, slow-paced reading through. So like 8 main series that I'm working on, and then Discworld and Redwall that are sort of in their own category of I'm slowly making my way through those longer series. So definitely feeling really good about that progress. And Bailey announced once all the boards were completed that the next series will be happening in November. It will take place the whole month of November, and we're going to be playing Bailey's TBR game, a special version of it made just for Squashette series. Her TBR game is called Jokes on Me, and she is not playing it currently this year, but some of her friends are. So Marcella at Marcella in the Margins, and then Lizzie at Lizzie's Literary Life. But they're playing that game, and it's really fun. There's like a game board, and you flip cards, and cards tell you like where to move and how to move and stuff. And it's a really fun game to watch. And so I hope that if you're at all interested in playing Squashette series with us, if you want to focus on reading your series, there is no better readathon than Squashette series that I have found. And so you should definitely come join us. Every round is different. You can follow Bailey. I'll put her channel in the description below. I'll put her channel so you can follow her, because she's the one that will kind of like send out the announcement when it's coming. You could also join her Discord through there so that you can be a part of the Squashette series Discord. And it's just such a blast. I love every version of this game that we've played. She makes it different every time, and I'm always amazed at how she can think of new and interesting ways to play. And it's just so fun, and I have really worked through so many series because of Squashette series much faster than I would have on my own. So it's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend you join if you're at all interested. Let me know down below how many series you currently have on the run. If you participated in Squashette series, how many series did you finish? I'd be interested to know if you were able to finish any in this round. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!